Hello, welcome to Matchday Live here on LUTV. Today the team have travelled south to take on relegation-threatened Luton Town. You can watch today's game on LUTV in selected countries. Just head to the LUTV website to buy your pass now. All the build-up to come before our live coverage of the game begins, and for this one we are joined by our very own Jermaine Beckford and Stuart Dallas. How are we feeling, lads?
Very good.
Tired is the answer, but they won't say that live on air. They're both very tired, but it's because of work commitments, isn't it?
It is.
Look, this is a big game today for various reasons. The stage of the season, you know, the last performance. How will the lads be feeling ahead of this one, Jermaine?
They'll be looking forward to it. You know, Daniel Farke would have said to them after the last couple of games, we've just got to put those games to bed. It could have been worse. We could have ended up with no points. We got 2 points out of the 2 games, 3 games unbeaten now, and it's onwards and upwards. Put the rest to bed, start afresh. Today is an opportunity to really kickstart again and take the top spot back. You know, that's where we belong. That's where we need to be. And today, obviously, the early kickoff, it will put the pressure on all the other teams as well. So we just need to make sure we get out the gates nice and quickly. Do the simple things well. That's a fun phrase, isn't it? And yeah, just make sure we play our game, not focus too much on Luton.
Well, look, we can see the lads arriving there. Stuart, yes, you're right, Bex, it was a point against Swansea, but that late goal was really disheartening, and I think a lot of us as fans were really disappointed. No one will be more disappointed with that than Daniel Farke and the team. Can you turn something like that into a positive, Stuart?
Yeah, I think, listen, conceding so late on is a big blow. You know, it gives the opposition, it gives the teams that's chasing you, it gives them a bit of a lift as well. Psychologically, it's a big blow. But you know, they've been on the receiving end of them as well. You know, we scored late at home here to Sunderland. We scored late at Sheffield United as well. So it sort of worked itself out over the season. But the good thing is that, you know, we've given ourselves a big enough gap to have this run of form at the minute. So you know, now it's almost all square again, so it's all to play for. So these 2 games are huge. You know, Daniel will obviously, he'll know that. I think there'll have been a few home truths at training this week, if I'm being honest. I think there have been a few meetings to discuss things and clear the air with things. And yeah, they've got a big opportunity, but it's a good incentive to be playing first, to then go and put the pressure on the other teams by getting a win.
Well, we saw Daniel Farke there looking smiley, relaxed, and you know, he said in his press conference earlier this week, Bex, that he's sure that this Leeds United side are getting promoted. As a player, hearing your manager talk like that, does that instill confidence in you?
Yeah, it does. But I think it's very smart from Daniel. He's taken the pressure and expectations away from the players a little bit and putting it on him. So if it doesn't happen, it's not going to be on the players, because fans, we see what the boys are capable of and what they're able to do. To hear your manager say that, it's him saying, right, well, I've got nothing but 100% belief and faith in my players, in my abilities as well as a coach to coach the players and get them doing exactly what I think they should be doing to get the points and get the wins. So, and as a player, I would want to repay that faith that the manager's showing in us, because he's stuck his neck out there. He's really stuck his neck out.
It's really bold to say that, isn't it? With 7 games to go, Stuart.
And you don't want to let him down.
It's admirable, but it is a really bold thing to say.
It is, but it shows the belief that he has in the squad as well. I think he has a points target in mind. That points target's still there to be achieved. And he believes in his players. The players have got to realise they've got in this position because they're a good team. They're good players and they're a good team. And yes, everybody goes through the season and has their ups and downs, of course they do, but they're at the top of the league because they are a good side, and they've got to remember that. And this is just another tough game for them. But in my opinion, I think at this stage of season, tactics, everything goes out the window. You've got to turn up and be ready to fight, because this is going to be a fight today. I don't think, obviously you need tactics, of course you do, but You've got to turn up and be willing to fight and give everything on the pitch. And adapt. Well. Yeah, because this game today, I think it'll be very much like Portsmouth was a few weeks ago. I think it'll be an intense game. It'll be physical. Yes. But Luton are fighting for their lives, and they'll make it physical. And and Leeds have got to learn from that Portsmouth game and be ready for a fight.
Yeah, you're right. They are a very direct and physical side. We heard Daniel Farke say in his press conference that, you know, this is not going to be easy. Yeah. We can't turn up to Luton and expect to play their way. We have to be able to adapt and know the way we play. Yeah,
absolutely. Look, Luton are one of those sides, and today they've got the two big boys up front, Carlton Morris and Adebayo, and they're, possession-wise, they're lowest in the league, one of the lowest in the league. But they've had, I think it's about 5th or 6th highest touches in the opposition box, which tells you they bypass the midfield often. They go back to front to the big players and they just squeeze everybody else up. We're going to have to adapt our game to that. Don't get physical. Don't try and battle these boys who are really, really strong and they know how to use their bodies.
You've got to get on second balls.
Get the second balls, get the defensive players and the midfield players squeezing up when the ball goes over and then just try and suffocate all the space as much as possible.
But we've got to be nasty as well. We've got to have a nasty streak in us in terms of being able to see games out and you know, win games differently. Yeah. You know, obviously we all want to play nice football and win games by playing, but at this stage of the season it doesn't matter.
You get the points by
You get the points by, you do what you need to do to win the game.
Absolutely.
I haven't really seen that from us this season in terms of having them dark arts, and this is the stage of the season where we need it. You know, last season's a perfect example, the exact same point in the season where we started to go off the boil a bit and, you know, lost games that we should have been winning, and you know, we've really got to take it to them today.
Right, lads, we are going to talk about team news very shortly, but for now, let's get the thoughts of Junior Firpo.
Well, Junior, a big away game. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, obviously looking forward to it. Looking forward to every game that is left. Yeah, difficult ground, difficult team. They are in a difficult situation at the minute. I think they didn't expect to be in that position, but yeah, I think both teams are fighting for something important.
Yeah, a lot riding on it. Their form has picked up a little bit by the look of it in the last few games, so it's going to be difficult, isn't it, today?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. They are on a good run of games. Obviously, they had to win at some point. They had to win games at some point of the season, and they are doing it now just before facing us. But look, every game from now till the end is going to be difficult, and this is one of the most difficult. Yeah.
The prize is such a big prize, isn't it?
It's such a big prize. I'm enjoying every game left until the end of the season. Every difficult game, I just enjoy to play football, just enjoy to play with this shirt, and I can't wait.
Junior Firpo there, who comes in for Sam Byram today. 4 changes, actually, in today's starting 11. Tanaka as well, in for Joe Rothwell, who has a calf injury. The biggest talking point, Stuart, Carl Darlow is in for Illan Meslier. We know that Daniel Farke won't have made that decision lightly. How do you think Illan will be feeling about that?
I think he'll be disappointed, obviously, that he's been dropped. You know, he hasn't been dropped too many times in his Leeds career, but I think he'll be realistic as well. He understands the game and he knows that his performances haven't been good enough. It's been a really, really difficult season for him this year, and you know, Carl Darlow is a more than capable replacement. You know, he's an experienced goalkeeper, albeit he hasn't played a lot of games. We know he played in the international window there, which will do him good. But he's a goalkeeper that has played in the Premier League. He's played a lot of games at Championship level, so he's a good backup. He's a good keeper to bring in, and I'm happy for Carl because he's had to bide his time, and it's not easy as a goalkeeper. And he'll have seen obviously Illan make a mistake, and he'll feel sorry for Illan as well. But at the end of the day now, he's got a chance to step up, and I think it's the right decision. I personally think it could have happened a number of weeks ago, but obviously the manager makes them decisions. But Illan will learn from this as well. There's not too many goalkeepers go through their career without getting dropped, and you know, hopefully Illan can take it the right way and come back stronger.
He's still so young, isn't he? I think we forget just how young he is. But for Daniel Farke, like Stuart says, Jermaine, this is a big decision, and one that, yes, he maybe could have made a few weeks ago, but there's a reason for that. He knows these players inside out, and we have to trust in the manager, particularly at this stage of the season, that the calls he's making now are the right ones, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why he gets paid the big bucks, because he makes the really difficult decisions, and it's all about timing. He's going to be judged on whether this works now or not, or whether it should have been done weeks ago or not. I'm with Stewie. I do actually think the change could have been and probably should have been made a few weeks back. But at the same time, what a great replacement. It's somebody that we know understands the game, how to play it. He's had a couple of games for the national team recently as well, so he's not going to be rusty. And it's just a matter of getting him back up to pace. I quite appreciate and respect the fact that Daniel Farke's pulled both of the players, both of the goalkeepers aside earlier on this week and given them both the heads up and said, right, listen, Elland, you're not going to be playing for XYZ reason. Carl, you're in. And it's given both of those players time to adapt and get over the frustration initially and also the elation and excitement. And, you know, it brings them both to a calm state. So now they can actually focus on playing the game and supporting each other.
I think Elland will learn. I think he needed it for his own head space. He needed to be taken out.
Agreed.
There's a lot of pressure playing for this club and a lot of mental pressure, mental stress as well, and emotional too. So I think it's a decision that Elland probably knew was coming, and it's one that he'll take on the chin, and hopefully it'll make him a better goalkeeper.
Yeah, I really hope so. Well, look, Willie Gnonto also comes in for Brendan Aronson. We'll discuss that shortly. But first, let's head over to Kenilworth Road and catch up with our commentary team, Bryn Law and Tony Dorigo.
Bright blue skies and the sun is shining, but there probably is a little bit of a chill in the air, hence the coat for Tony Dorigo. Much to go at in terms of the team news. 4 changes to talk about here, Tony. What you've got to say about that?
Obviously, Darlow coming back in for Meslier. That kind of narrative now is put to the side. Firpo and Tanaka have come back in after their travels. And I suppose the big news, along with the goalkeeper, is Gnonto, coming in for Aronson. So I think it's a good move. I like the look of all those changes. However, it's all about the team now. It's about pulling together and getting on with the job.
The composition of the side, is that to do a job here, a specific job here?
It is, and I think when you look at what's going to happen today, it's going to be quite a difficult physical battle. I think the ball's going to be whizzed in underneath our bar. We'll be under pressure. You can see it's a tight, compact ground, and we need some cool heads out there. And that midfield, when we have the opportunity, we need to control things as best we can. For me, the 2 best players to do that are Ampadu and Tanaka. They are the calmest heads out there. So that's why I think those 2 certainly are in midfield.
So what's Gnonto got to do today?
He has got to produce a spark. He's got to produce something going forward. So while Tanaka and Ampadu no doubt will be kind of sitting more so, he is the one that has more of a free rein to go and produce, show that bit of magic. We've seen it before. We want to see it again.
When we look at the bench, there's a little bit to talk about there as well, because we see Bamford and Verba back on the bench, but no Rothwell, no Joseph, both missing illness and injury today. Yes,
which is a blow as well, but good to see those experienced players coming onto the bench as well. I still look at our bench and think, wow, this is a strong bench. This is a strong team. This is a team and a squad good enough to go out there and do the job. But this Luton side will be fighting for their lives. We know that. They were Premier League last season. We respect them, but it's a huge game. We know that, but it is a game of football against a team that are struggling down the bottom. So to go and show why they're down there and we're up top.
There you go. Tony describes it. Huge game.
Huge game indeed. Look, we'll talk more about Luton shortly, but as I say, Willie Gnonto comes in for Brendan Aronson, and we heard Tony there saying, he needs to provide that spark, and he has been a real live wire and a shining light, hasn't he, Stuart, in recent weeks?
He has, yeah, and he's had to bide his time as well. He's been a bit frustrated, I know that, because he hasn't probably played as much as he would have wanted to. But he's got an opportunity today to come in and play in a role that he's probably not his strongest. But it's one that I think you'll see a lot of movement between him and Solomon, possibly. But he's got a big opportunity, and we need something. We need a spark in there. And in a game like this, where chances could be few and far between, it's a big opportunity for him.
Yeah, an opportunity that, like you say, he's certainly earned. Right, let's talk about Luton then, Bex, because they're currently 5th in the form table. So even though they're dwindling down in the relegation zone, they've got a lot to play for, and they have been in good form recently, haven't they? Yeah, they have. It's the new manager's come in not too long ago, and he's finally starting to implement his style of play on these players. And it's not a possession-based team. He knows that Luton are down at the bottom of the league for a reason. They came down from the Premier League, which is something that is so mind-boggling.
I can't believe they're in the position they're in.
Neither can I, because all they needed to do was the same things that they were doing the back end of the last season in the Premier League, and just be really aggressive, similar to what they're doing now, actually, going back to front quite quickly and then almost suffocating the space and making it really difficult for the opposition. they're a bizarre team. They're a bizarre team because they have got a couple of players in the squad
I remember at the start of the season, they started the season poorly, and I said they'll be okay. They had a few injuries and stuff, and I said when they get players back, they'll be okay. So I can't believe they're down at the bottom. Well, I can, because it's football and anything can happen. But for the squad of players that they have, they shouldn't be where they are. But on paper, but they are, because they haven't been good enough. But they've turned their form around in recent weeks, and you know, they're fighting. It's always dangerous when you're fighting down there.
Every mistake is punished.
That's the thing. I always remember Marcelo telling us a good story is like when somebody's drowning and you try and help them up, they pull you down.
Yeah.
And this is what he used to say to us when we were going to try and win the championship. And this is a perfect example of it, that you can't give anybody a hand up because they'll pull you down.
It's so true. It has the potential to be a dangerous game.
It's a dangerous game. And
well, look, we last faced them in November here at Elland Road and beat them 3-0. But it was a different team then, wasn't it, Bex?
Yeah, it was. You know, they're a different manager. They didn't actually look like they came to play football, to be honest, from what I remember. We did exactly what we expect the players to do and be really aggressive with the ball, being really decisive as well. When we pick the ball up, move the ball out wide to the wide players and through the number 10 area nice and quickly. Get the ball doing the work, you know. That's the way to break down teams like this. You've just got to be really, really quick. Lovely finish as well from Sam. But the quicker you move the ball, the harder it is for the opposition to do anything, especially one that's slightly disjointed and really down on their confidence as well. Because all that would happen is they'll end up turning around to each other and saying, why didn't you get closer? Why didn't you get closer? And it's the blame game. As soon as they start doing that, their heads fall off completely.
Stuart, what is our game plan going to be today, do you think, to deal with Luton's approach?
I think we talked about it earlier. They've got it's going to be, I think it'll be physical in terms of they'll be quite direct. So it's important that if we don't win the first balls, because the two lads up front are quite physical, you know, Morris and Adebayo. So if we don't win the first one, we've got to make sure that we're around the ball to win the second one, be nice and compact. And then obviously we want to try and play, but I think it could be quite difficult to play through the lines the way we want to play. So I think we're going to have to bypass the midfield at times, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong, especially when you've Dan James on one side, Solomon on the other.
The pace,
with the pace, there isn't anything wrong with maybe going a wee bit more direct at times and just start the game really well, because the last thing you want to do is give them something to cheer about early on and just try and kill them straight away.
Well, look, like you said, Stuart, Willie Gnonto has had to bide his time in recent weeks, but he's been telling LUTV this week that he and the squad are ready to give it their all for the final 7 games of the season.
Willie, you've had a few days to let the dust settle from Saturday. Everyone to just try and process what happened. How's the mood been the last few days?
I think it's been good. Obviously, we know that it wasn't the best game for us. We wanted to do better, but obviously it was not possible. But at the same time, we know that we have another chance to do better on Saturday, and we want to take it.
The manager said in his press conference after the game he wanted you all to take a break from football for a few days. Was that something that you feel benefited you all?
I think so. I think we had many players going with the national teams as well, so it was good to kind of like have some time off, time to recover a little bit and go again. So yeah, I think it was definitely positive.
What do you do to reset? You know, like, I'm sure all of you go out for food or something different, but how do you just try and mentally switch off?
I think it's different for everyone, you know. I think for me, it was good to kind of have some time away from football, away from trainings, away from my teammates and the stuff as well. And yeah, just stay with my family, friends, or I don't know, girlfriends, wives, or whatever it can be. But for me, it was just good to relax, stay a bit away, have some treatments as well, and go again.
Did you notice a difference when you came back in? Do you feel that, I guess, energy and refreshed, ready to go?
Yeah, I think so. I feel really good. I think everyone just kind of needed this time off, and we were ready to go again with energy and, you know, confidence.
Through adversity, there's also excitement. There's opportunities to impress. You personally will be itching to get going and make an impact. How excited about you, on a personal note, that you can make a big difference for the rest of the season?
I'm really excited, to be fair. I feel like I had a difficult period, where I wasn't playing as much as I could have, and I'm really excited because in the most important period, I'm getting back to form. I'm confident again. I feel good. I feel good with myself, with my body, and it was just unlucky to pick up this kind of knock with the national team. But now I feel good, and hopefully I'll have some time to help the team.
If selected from the start this weekend, it is going to be no game's easy, but Luton have picked up their form. They're impressing at home. They'll be trying to make life very difficult, but I guess you guys are more than used to that sort of experience.
Yeah, we know it's going to be a really tough game. They're playing not to get relegated, and so they play for everything, but at the same time we're playing to go up, and we want to try our best. We know that it's going to be tough, but we can be as tough as they are, or we can be as confident as they are, and we're going to try to win the game.
You mentioned then about it being tough, but it is a chance to make a statement, isn't it? You're on the road, it's an early kick-off. That stadium is known for being quite hostile, but this is a group that's thrived at Elland Road in that, so a real chance to send a message to everybody else.
Yeah, I feel like it is, because there have been many people trying to doubt us in the last couple of days or saying that we're not going to do it. So maybe going there with a good win could be sending a message to everyone, yeah.
Willie Gnonto there, feeling very positive and energetic. I mean, he always is so full of life, but how crucial is he going to be at this stage of the season for us, Jermaine?
Oh, very, very, very crucial. And do you know what? Something that I really appreciate about Daniel Farke, what he's done with Willie Gnonto, is he's given him a little taste here and there, just to keep that hunger, build that hunger up, build that frustration in a sense, but also give him a little bit of a taste. So now when he's got his opportunity to start, he's not going to want to go and sit back on the bench. So he's going to want to give everything, absolutely everything, to make sure that he's a pivotal part of what we're doing next. His creations, his creativity, his shooting, his crossing, his through balls, how bullish he is when he's on the ball, that's what he's in there for. And Brendan Aaronson's a great player, nice and neat and tidy. But what lets him down sometimes is what he does in the final third. It's the final pass, the final shot, the final cross, for example. And that's the reason that he's not in there today. Willie Gnonto has got a great opportunity, as I said, to make this position his. And Stuart touched on it before. The 10 role is not necessarily his strongest position, but he's on the pitch. And he's able to make a change. He's able to...
Well, we've seen the impact that he can make.
Exactly.
He's constantly looking to make things happen, Willie, when he's playing. And when you play in that 10 role, that's your job, is to create things. If you're not scoring, you've got to be creating assists. And it just hasn't happened a little bit for Brendan over the last number of weeks. He's had a big season, Brendan, to be fair. He's played a lot of football, but it's a big opportunity for Willie now to come in and hopefully be that spark that we need. Willie's best, it sounds silly, but he's best when he's happy.
Yes.
And playing with a smile on his face. So if he can get off to a good start today, I think you'll see the best of him.
Well, let's hope that we've all got smiles on our faces by the end of today.
Oh, we will,
lads.
regardless.
That brings me to your favourite moment.
Yay.
Match predictions, score predictions.
Easy.
Jermaine Beckford, you first.
It's going to be a very interesting game, as Stewie mentioned before, the physicality of it. As long as we concentrate on doing what we do best, I fancy us running out 3-0, 3-1 winners. 3-1.
Big call, yeah.
Big call, yeah.
It is.
I'm going to go 2-0, clean sheet for my friend Darlow.
I want a clean sheet as well, by the way.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Fingers crossed for a clean sheet, lads? Well, look, today marks the 25th anniversary of the murders of Kevin Spate and Christopher Loftus. We can see Ethan Ampadu and Pascal Stroy laying a wreath and paying their respects at the away end. Fans at Kenilworth Road will also be paying their respects, and on Thursday, the players paid theirs too. Our thoughts are with Chris and Kev's family and friends.
Thank you for joining us today as we come together to remember Chris and Kev on what will soon be the 25th anniversary of that fateful night. I'd like to thank Daniel, the players, and the rest of the staff at Leeds United for taking time out to join us to remember. Their memories will live on forever, not just through brothers and sisters and children, but through the whole Leeds United fan base. And the 5th of April will always be a special day of remembrance at this club. I would like you now to all join in a minute's silence as I say rest in peace and God bless you both.
Leeds United remembering Chris and Kevin, 2 Leeds United fans who travelled to support their team and didn't come home again. And the tributes have been laid behind the goal here at Kenilworth Road as the players emerge from the tunnel into the sunlight, and the Leeds fans packed into the stand away to our right behind the goal, and down below as well in the corner of this compact little stadium. Real throwback ground, this one. You walk in through the terraced houses and the streets that are hemming the ground in on all 4 sides, hence the decision to make a move away, but not just yet. There are a few more games to come and then some at this traditional ground with a traditional atmosphere and what will no doubt be a traditional championship challenge for Leeds United as they come up against a side with very different ambitions for their final few games of the season. Luton Town, down from the Premier League,